Welcome back to the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios, Indiana Sports Beat. Jim Coyle with you as always. And now we're joined with our great friend Mitchell Paige, former Indiana football player. Brother, how's it going?
What's up, Jim? Long time no talk. How are you?
I'm getting by. A lot more fun when we get to talk to you, so this will be a lot more fun. But I know you're a busy guy. You came back from Europe and getting into the workforce now.
Yeah, I'm growing up. I'm about to buy a house. Thanks.
Well, there's always good parts and bad parts, but I'm sure that a lot of people are happy to have you back on this side of the pond for all of the time instead of just part of the time. But how hard was it, Mitchell, to make that adjustment of you got out of college and you went right into playing pro ball over in Europe, and now you're doing the change that you just talked about, and there is no more football. How hard is that transition to make?
It's been actually really hard for me. I have no real structure anymore, and at football, I had a schedule. I had to be somewhere now, and just everything was planned out for me. And it was a little bit of adjustment, figuring out how to plan my own day and how to get things that I needed to get done, make sure they got accomplished. I'm jealous of the guys that weren't playing football in college a little bit because they learned these skills a long time ago.
Well, and then plus not having the game to play anymore, the competition, the camaraderie. I know those are some of the biggest things that whenever you leave a sport, those are the hardest things to leave behind.
Yeah, that was really tough at the beginning. Luckily, I'm at a really cool place right now where I'm working. I'm doing medical sales, selling joints, not the good kind, but selling joints. And I've got a great group of dudes that I'm working with that are pushing me, and it's an ultra-competitive industry, so I'm able to find an outlet for the competitiveness still. I'm in a really good place.
Well, of course, that makes sense, too, because, I mean, you just transferring that competitive nature from the football field into the business world, and I'm sure that they can see that, and that's one of the things that makes you attractive to a potential employer. But how can you use the things that you've learned through football and through that competitive nature, but all the other things that you just talked about, the structure, and transfer that into the business world?
Yeah, I know what it looks like to be productive, I think, is the biggest thing that I can take away from sports. I know how to be productive, and it's going to be able to translate into a little bit different than football was, but I'm going to be able to structure my day, and I know, okay, this is what really being productive looks like. Let's get back to that.
And not only that, Jordan Hulls was on the program last week, and he just was named what's that?
I'm jealous you were talking to him. He's the MVP of Europe. He's balling.
Well, as were you last year, too, man. You broke every record that they had over there. But you guys remind me a lot of each other. Both guys that came out of school. And I remember we've had conversations about your recruiting and whatnot, how some coaches would look at your size and whatnot and just not give you a second look. But then, and Jordan Hulls had the same kind of a thing. He was not the biggest guy on the court, but man, all of a sudden, both of you, when it came down to produce numbers, bam, off the chart. Is part of that having a chip on your shoulder?
Yeah, I think you have to. And I'm sure Jordan would tell you the same thing. As I've gotten older, you kind of understand. In recruiting, it's a very inexact science. I've said that before on here. I think you understand it's a lot easier to justify recruiting someone that's bigger, faster, stronger than it is to justify recruiting someone, especially like me, that's only 5'6" in high school and 145 pounds. It's hard to justify that to the fans. If you miss on me, that looks a lot worse. Like, duh, he's so small. So I understand it from the coach's perspective as I've gotten older. But for me, it was great. It fueled a lot, big fire. I have all the lists of all the coaches that have told me I wasn't good enough. And all through college and when I was with the Chargers and even still in Germany. And even to this day, I know where it is. And I look at it every once in a while just to remind myself, I'm not even supposed to have had the opportunities that I have had and know the people that I know. Let's make the most of it.
That's great. And both of you, like I said, went on amazing careers. Jordan Hulls just named MVP, but you broke about every record they had last year, man. That was amazing.
Thank you. I did get the ball a lot. I was very fortunate. Went over there with a buddy of mine and to say he gave me the first look on every play would be an understatement. I think I got the first couple looks. So that made it a lot easier on me.
Well, there's a reason that you got the first look. I mean, if you can't make it happen, I'm sure that he wouldn't have been doing that. So he had great confidence in you for a reason. So we're glad to have you back over on this side of the pond, though, man.
Yeah. No, who's super happy about it is my mom. She was there waiting for me in the airport. She probably texts me 3 times a week. I'm so happy that you're back over here. So that's really cool to be around her. She's one of the best ladies I've ever met, probably the best lady I've ever met in my life. So she's awesome, and I love her to death, and I'm happy to be back here.
As all we are. And then Indiana football, they have not had the success yet that everybody would hope for. But, man, the recruiting, it sure seems like that's a matter of time. Tom Allen is doing an unbelievable job recruiting. He's brought in 2 of the best classes in the history of that program.
Yeah, and it's easy to see why. You meet him once. I mean, he's the ultimate player's coach. I'd want to, if I was in high school and he was recruiting me, I'd want to go play for him too. He says the right things, does the right things. He's
I think we lost Mitchell there for a second. Got you back here. Mitch, we were talking about Coach Allen and the unbelievable job he's done recruiting. He's bringing in some serious talent, man.
Yeah, I mean, he's off the charts recruiting. I think that's what I was saying before we left. It's easy to see why. He's doing everything that you need a coach to do. He's doing it at a big-time level. He's got all the facilities that he could ever need. That stadium is beautiful. If you haven't been down there, go see it. It's one of the prettiest-looking stadiums in the Big Ten. We need to fill it so it can be one of the loudest stadiums in the Big Ten. But that obviously comes with winning, and that's the next step. He's got the talent that's in there. It's still young, but got to find ways to win these games, as we've been saying for the past 10 years.
Yeah, as a receiver, as an offensive person, how would it be for you to go in knowing that they've got young quarterbacks like Michael Penix and Jack Tuttle and Peyton Ramsey with a couple of years of experience, but they got a hell of a quarterback room right now?
Yeah, I was down there for the spring game, and it was interesting. The receivers don't really care who's going to be out there. They got confidence in everybody. They said Tuttle's a gunslinger, Penix has got a cannon, and he's learning every day, and Peyton has been there before, so they're not worried about who's going to be in there. They're not saying, oh, I want him, I want him, I want him. They just, whoever's in there, let's go. We can all run. Let's just play fast.
How unusual is that for an offense to? Because it seems a lot of times most people have, I'd really like to see this guy in, but man, you're right. They've got a ton of talent in that room.
Yeah, it's hard to pick one. I'm not jealous of the quarterback's coach who's got to pick who's going to go out there first. I know that. They've all got some talent. I didn't get to see Tuttle that day, but just from what I hear, he sounds like he's everything that we hope he's going to be. So it should be a fun year to just watch the quarterbacks grow and develop, and we'll see what happens.
And not only is the quarterbacks, they've got a great running backs room. I mean, my gosh, I don't know. I don't think I can remember a time when they have this much talent in that running backs room. I mean, there are Stevie Scott's coming back, of course, but you got Cole Guest who will be coming back off of an injury. You've got Samson James and Ivory, new guys that are coming in. They have got talent from each level. I mean, some experience with Cole Guest. You've got a breakout star in Stevie Scott last year, and then the new guys, Samson James and Ivory as well. I mean, they've got a ton of talent in that room as well.
Yeah, it's all about competition. That's what you're looking for. Big-time teams, the Ohio States, the Clemsons, the Alabamas of the world have depth. And they have third-string guys that are pushing the first-string guys every week to make sure they're always on top of their game. IU's got that in the running back room. It's got it in some other rooms, needed in some other places, but they're going in the right direction. Put it all together. I'm going to keep saying that. Put it all together.
And, of course, being a former offensive player, running the receiving core, Indiana has had a good receiving core for a number of years. I mean, they seem to really excel there, and this year will be no different.
Yeah, I don't have anything to add. Playing receiver at IU comes with a little sense of pride, and the guys that were before you expect you to perform when you're out there, and the guys in the room right now know that, and they fully expect to live up to that.
Well, and they've got guys that can do different things. Of course, you got Mr. Westbrook, but you've also got guys like Luke Timian, who reminds me a lot of you, can do a lot of things, man. Just such a quick hit and an explosive player, and you could run him on punt returns if you need to. They can do so much, but can do things that other receivers probably couldn't do.
They're versatile, and that's what we've been that way for a long time, and I think that's one of the things that makes IU really attractive for recruits. Big guys aren't always going to be on the outside. They're going to move in, they're going to move out, switch sides, have different feet up, run different routes. You have to be a total package receiver if you want to play at IU, and that's what's made us excel on offense to be able to vertically stretch and expand defenses very effectively.
Talking with our good friend Mitchell Paige. Now, and of course, back-to-back 5 and 7 seasons. That's one thing that is going to have to change. They're going to have to get some wins, and I think get to a bowl game. But it's a tough schedule coming up, but they've got to start getting the wins on the board as well.
It's all that matters. You can be the best recruiter in the world, say all the right things, but football doesn't wait. College football does not wait. Winning is what matters. First and foremost, winning puts people in the stands. Winning makes money, and that's the name of the game.
Well, there's a couple things that'll be different this year from your playing days. If you come back, you can now buy beer at Memorial Stadium. How's that treat you?
I think it's phenomenal. I think it's long overdue. Even if it saves half the people that would have went out, it totally changes the atmosphere of the game. It's a Big Ten college football stadium, and at halftime, not being able to buy beer. I mean, I understand. You're there. It's an event. You want to be with your people, enjoying yourself. And for a lot of people, that means alcohol. And when it's not in the stadium, you got to go out to get it. There's no pass outs, and it just creates a whole tornado of problems that is going to be avoided for at least half of those people, I would think. And not to mention make some money off it, too. So I think it's a great move. Long overdue for the university.
And how important it is for especially a program like Indiana that would lose so many people at halftime and they wouldn't come back because they're out tailgating or whatever and they don't come back in. But how important is that as a player to have those people in the stands when you need them?
Even when it's not loud, seeing people in the stands makes you feel like you're not alone, and it's honestly, this sounds terrible. Now that I'm a fan, I feel like I can say it. I'm not on the team anymore. There'd be times when we'd come out at halftime, it was kind of embarrassing. You'd be like, is this really – I mean, there's more people at the spring game. Is this really as much as we can bring out? And guys that I've now talked to that were playing on other teams said the same thing. Like, you guys were in the first half, it was loud, and then it was just kind of just tailed off, to say it nicely, in the second half. So hopefully that beer, concessions, and winning games can change some of that.
It's hopefully that there's big changes coming. They got a lot of recruits coming in. I think it's going to be a fun year for them. I really do expect some good things. The schedule's going to be tough this year. They've got to go to a place, play at Nebraska. That's something kind of new. They're looking forward to that. What would it be like to be able to play at a place like that?
I'm going to be in the stadium, so hopefully I can get a little bit of taste in it. That's one stadium I've always wanted to go to. Never got the chance to when I was there. But I'm going to do my best to get out there. I'm going to go to that game, and it's going to be rowdy. From all that I've heard about it, I heard it's one of the best stadiums in America, so looking forward to that.
Well, hopefully we can ride down together because I'm definitely the same. I'm looking forward to going out there. I mean, there's nothing like being in a place that has great culture no matter where it is or what it is, and it's just enjoyable to soak that stuff up, man.
Absolutely. Those are some of the best fans. They've been through the trials and tribulations a little bit the last couple of years, and they're still ride or die with them. That's what I think IU should strive for. IU football needs that if it wants to get to the levels that I think it should be at, and the facilities kind of look for. That's with the facilities that we have, that's what we need to be happening. That's the product that we need on the field, and the fans come along with that. It's really cool, something that IU should model itself after.
Mitchell Paige, former IU great, man. I thank you so much. Looking forward to seeing you on the golf course maybe this summer. Get you down here. Say hi to your dad for me as well.
Absolutely. I definitely will. He asks about you all the time. We'll get on the golf course, practice that game, man. Get to the driving range.
I'll do it, brother. Thank you so much. Mitchell Paige, I can't thank you enough.
Yeah, definitely. Looking forward to being on the show again.
Hey, thanks for listening to the rebroadcast from today's edition of Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle, the only daily show dedicated to Indiana University athletics. You can catch us live each weekday on indianasportsbeat.com, thedailyhoosier.com, growingtruth.com, or go to Spreaker.com for live notifications. Yeah, that's speaker with an R, Spreaker.com. You can also catch the entire show any place you listen to a podcast, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Google Play, etc. You can find and follow the show on Facebook or follow me on Twitter at Jim Coyle ISB for complete coverage of the Indiana Hoosiers. Thanks again. I hope you have a great day. I'm Jim Coyle, and I will see you on the radio.